Clearing blocks to abundance. Abundance blocks can significantly impact both the root and heart chakras. While the root chakra, associated with safety, survival, and security, can be affected by a fear of lack, the heart chakra, linked to love, compassion, and relationships, can also be impacted by a lack of worthiness or self-love in relation to abundance. More specifically, the root chakra, located at the base of the spine, is responsible for grounding and connecting us to our basic human needs and material prosperity. If we have blocks in this area, they might manifest as a fear of not having enough, a greed stemming from a past lack of resources, or a general feeling of insecurity related to financial stability. Meanwhile, the heart chakra, located in the center of the chest, is associated with love, compassion, empathy, and the ability to give and receive love. Abundance blocks can affect the heart chakra by leading to feelings of unworthiness or self-doubt, making it difficult to feel worthy of abundance or to open oneself to receiving love and compassion. Since the root and heart chakras, and for that matter, all of the energy centers are interconnected, imbalances in one can also affect the other. For example, a fear of lack in the root chakra can make it difficult to be open to receiving love and abundance in the heart chakra, and vice versa. Spiritual response therapy is a very good system for clearing blocks to abundance. For more information about how to be trained in SRT, see spiritualresponse.org. Transforming Blockages is another useful multidimensional system for healing abundance blocks. For more information, please see Jill and Remi's webinar series at Twin Flame Healers and QuantumUnion.com. And as always, please remember to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. I appreciate the energy exchange. Hello, this is the Lady of Shalott, and welcome to this clearing on blocks to abundance. So I have assembled a group body as usual, and I have prepped it to work off camera. And by group body, I'm defining that as all listeners to this recording, now and in the future. The lineages you're connected to, so these may be biological lineages with whom you share DNA, but also non-biological lineages. Cultural, symbolic, religious, or non-religious lineages you may be connected to. And I've also included your immediate soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, and all of our high self teams committees. Okay, so let's start by getting a positive, negative number on blocks to abundance for this group body, please. What is the positive on abundance? Which, as I noted in the introduction, can refer to either love or money simultaneously. So this clearing will work on both the root and the heart chakra. I will circle back at a later date and I will do a separate clearing just for money. But blocks to abundance seem to have more applications, which is why I started with it for this channel. So the positive on blocks to abundance is running at about 80 presently. And what is the negative? Looks like it's running at about 60 on the negative. And what is the level of consciousness vis-a-vis blocks to abundance? And it looks like it's at many mansions, paths, and levels, which is about 2/3 of the way up along the first page of chart 3. So what this higher level may reflect is that this group body may have already done some chakra healing, ancestral debt karma, or relationship clearing work, or maybe actively working on money manifestation. Interestingly, the level of many mansions itself reflects the myriad of abundant possibilities that are available at universal God consciousness. At this level, the soul may now choose which paths it wishes to follow as it continues its education and spiritual growth. Indeed, in my Father's house are many mansions. John 14:2. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's rebalance that positive negative number. 80 positive, 60 negative. to 100% positive, 0% negative, from that of many mansions, paths, and levels, all the way up to radiant love, new paradigm. And I'm dowsing on that. And as I do so, you may hear my pendulum swinging. And I'm about to lay in some clearing statements to help with the process. It's not important for you to know what all these mean. Just sit back and receive. All levels, layers, depths of chart 3. All elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities. From inception to present time and into the future. Clear all duplicates, copies, backups, rebuilding, replication programs. Clear mirror images and meld the mirrors. Clear all the programs that may trigger these. Clear anything hidden, buried, covered up, lied about, denied, cursed, or avoided. Body memory, memory impingements, emotional impingements even. Anything else the soul may be hiding. Vis-a-vis blocks to abundance. And please do this in 0 time. For all listeners to this recording, now and in the future, the lineages they're connected to. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level. All of our high self teams, committees. If greed is running as a master program, let's ask to burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. Stinginess, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. Abandonment or forsaken, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. Separation, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. And grief, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. And those are just some of the obvious ones that I would associate with abundance blocks. Okay, good. And we're stopping. All right. So Spirit, where to next? Where do we start this clearing on chart 1? And we're getting 18 higher level blocks. Okay. And what comes up here, please? Vis-a-vis blocks to abundance. Blocks from God over Sun. What else? Programs in the subconscious mind of I am. Lords of Karma, God team. Can I just clear those programs or should I research? Research? Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all I can without research, and then we will go to chart 6A to find out what those programs are that are running at that level, because in this system, the I am level is a specific level of consciousness where we may have blocks. And we're also asking to clear blocks from God over the Sun, which I will define for you momentarily from Detzler's Soul Recreation. So clear through all levels, layers, steps of chart 3. All elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities. Clear from inception to present time and into the future. Again, of all listeners, now and in the future. Clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan, and the ancestors, please. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. Blocks from God over Sun. When we incarnate in a solar system, the God over the Sun in that solar system set up blocks to wisdom and light so that we would walk in darkness and ignorance as part of the learning process. Okay, so since it could have been a different solar system, and many of us as starseeds, in fact, may herald from a different planet of origin. These blocks may now be bleeding over from that time and influencing our ability to consistently manifest and hold money and our ability to give and receive love. Now the other programs in the subconscious mind of I am. The I am precedes over the super universe. At this level, the spiritual prototype for all that will become the formed worlds is created. You do not need to know anything about these programs in order to have high self clear them. So we're doing that now. But I am guided to know what the specific discordant energies are that are blocking our abundance at that level. So I'm going to go research that a little further now, just so that there's a conscious component to this clearing. And to review, where is the I am level? So we started the clearing at mini mansions, right? Paths and levels, and that is about 2/3 of the way up chart 3. The I am level, it's not quite at the top of the page at luminous, but it's a few levels beneath luminous, and it appears to be directly beneath the Godhead level, really, is the best way of explaining where it is. And what's also interesting is within the I am level, there are 2,000 levels. So right now, God team, forces of light, Lords of Karma are researching for abundance blocks through those 2,000 levels of I am. But now let's go find out, as it concerns the programs that are running at that level, what are the corresponding discordant energies and master programs, please? Side. We're getting excesses. What else? Outside. Restlessness. What else? Outside. Outside or inside? Outside. We're getting greed, in fact. Okay. Outside. Injustice. What else? Outside. Low self-esteem. Okay. Let's get those cleared. Now clear through all levels, specifically all of those 2,000 levels within the I am level, please. Layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities, from inception to present time and into the future. Clear the cellular level DNA, clan and the ancestors, clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. And low self-esteem is interesting. I mean, we would associate that more with the solar plexus chakra than the root of the heart, which this clearing is targeting. However, in my experience, as we work on our self-concept and it improves, we are more magnetic to money and to love. So what that may suggest is that more work on self-concept is advisable for this group body. Of course, self-concept also relates back to I am. In SRT, the I am level is the level at which the spiritual realms are created. The I am level of consciousness is also associated with the monadic level in New Age spirituality, as emphasized by Dr. Joshua David Stone's Cosmic Ascension, the cosmic map home. Indeed, connecting to one's I am presence is a powerful ascension activation meditation that can help raise the soul and its committees to the highest level, like the practice of SRT. Okay, we're stopping. Something else that's coming through, especially greed, excesses, injustices, and low self-esteem and blocks to God over the sun, I'm connecting that all back to the myth of Icarus. In Greek mythology, Icarus is known for his fatal flight after defying the laws of nature and man by flying too close to the sun. Of course, the main moral of the myth is about the dangers of excessive ambition, hubris, and ignoring good advice, although it also serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of moderation and respecting limits. The other connection I'm making is to multidimensional healer Michael Goldsman's concept of the positive and negative egoic consciousness. I regularly refer clients to Goldsman's website, clearingconnect.com, for supplemental group karmic clearings because he already has a vast depth and breadth of clearings available and because they also happen to be low cost. Goldsman defines the negative ego as that part of us that may be invested in remaining the same, even though we say we want evolution, even though we say we want change. That part of ourself that still identifies with separation, pain, problems, and victimization. The positive ego, on the other hand, recognizes that its truth of identity is anchored in spirit. So that does seem related here. So let's do that now. Let's ask to clear the negative egoic consciousness, which may also be blocking our abundance, down to 0%. And let's ask to dial up the positive egoic consciousness, which again has its truth of identity in spirit, to 100%. And while we're at it, let's also ask to clear all blocks to receiving to 100%. Well, this is something I regularly do during prep to work. As a practitioner, it's important to make sure clients are fully open to receiving direct healing now. Indeed, blocks to abundance can also outpicture as blocks to receiving and integrating the effects of a clearing to the full extent of our being. Okay. So where to next, please? Clearing blocks to abundance. Okay, chart 23, Spiritual Realms programs. Yes. We're getting spiritual blocks 1 through 6. Okay, so that has to do with how we incarnate and the 2600 pathways. So we'll define levels 1 through 6. I mean, that's going to include animal, vegetable, mineral. Other things. What else? Embryo of the one universe wants to be cleared. Anything else on this chart? No. Okay, so let's set up the clearing and I will define both of those programs now. Again, clear through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities from inception to present time and into the future for all listeners of this clearing now and in the future. Clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan, and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. So spiritual blocks 1 through 6. On chart 13, programs before creation, we talked about levels 1 through 6 that were established at the Godhead level. Clearing spiritual blocks 1 through 6 removes the energy established at that time. So I want to give you a little bit more information about what that is. As I was saying, it has to do with different incarnational pathways. 1 through 6 are the most common ones. So let me just go back to chart 13, where he defines some of those. So levels 1 through 6 are found before thought and were established at the Godhead level. Do not have much information on these paths. Fortunately, nothing other than the awareness that they all exist and that they need to be cleared. High Self does indicate that there are 2600 pathways by which we come into being as a spiritual being and living soul. Contrary to Darwin's theory, High Self tells me that there is no direct link between the apes and a gradual transformation into the human form. There are links to the animals and other creatures, but not as Darwin and others have envisioned. So level 1 has to do with the path of the sea and the dolphins, and he goes into more detail about that. Level 2 has to do with the fire planets, ones that are in the fire or molten state in their formation. So what's interesting there is the blocks to God over Sun that we cleared before, that could have to do with fire planet energy. Like if we've had other incarnations on a planet like Mars, for example. Mars may have life in another dimension. Some of the blocks to abundance could have been created at that level too. Level 3 has to do with plankton and land plants, either of which can be transformed directly into pre-Neanderthal. Level 4 has to do with fish. Fish can come through the path of plankton or directly from the generation of atomic coding. Level 5 is the direct transplant of humans from other planets by spaceships who have been visiting our planet for many thousands of years. This is how both Lemuria and Atlantis in the beginning were peopled by higher level humans. Interesting. And level 6 has to do with atomic coding of matter. This coding takes place before physical manifestation, but after the Big Bang, while the universe is still pure energy. Okay, and he goes into more detail about all of that. And then, right, the other program on this chart, Embryo of the One Universe. That was the other one we wanted to define for you. Embryo of the One Universe. Everything that is experienced by the souls in a one universe becomes the egg or embryo, which, with additional items inserted by spirit, becomes the foundation upon which the next one universe is built. Any discordant energies and beliefs that are carried over from the previous one universe need to be cleared. Yeah. So, I mean, that was what I was picking up on the blocks from God over the Sun, too, that you know, they were bleed over and influencing our life here now, but the blocks were set up at an earlier time. So it's similar with the embryo of the one universe. Since spiritual blocks 1 through 6 have to do with earlier incarnations, fear and trauma that was experienced, especially during animal lifetimes, may have been hardwired into our nervous system and need to be cleared. Remember, restlessness also came up on chart 6A earlier. Indeed, we can only manifest to the extent to which we can receive. In a more symbolic sense, the embryo of the one universe may also relate to our manifestational and creative potential. For where there is new life, there is also new potential. Okay, and we're stopping. Okay, where to next? I'm going to check the positive negative. We're 23 minutes in. Let's see. What is the positive now on clearing blocks to abundance? It looks like we're up to about 90. What is the negative on clearing blocks to abundance? About 25. Okay, so where do we go next, please? Final forgiveness, chart 28. Okay. And we're getting release anger at all levels. Ooh, that's productive. Okay, so there's a correlation between anger and blocks to abundance too. Interesting. What else? Clear for integrity of consciousness. Okay, let's get both of those cleared. Again, all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities. From inception to present time and into the future. Now, we are clearing anger at all levels. If anger itself also is running as a master program, let's ask to burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear, or a spiritual program, let's ask to clear. Clear the cellular level, DNA, clan and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. And it's interesting. I mean, anger to me is more of a solar plexus related issue. So yeah, surprisingly, that's already come up a few times in this clearing. And at some point, I will do a clearing for each chakra center. Probably not right away, though. Let's see. Chart 28. Release anger at all levels. Anger can even carry over from previous one universe. Okay, interesting. That keeps coming up as part of the total consciousness of the souls who experience in that one universe. This anger can be part of the embryo, okay, which we just cleared, so it's all connected. The divine plan, the first draft, and the extension of both the spiritual and the physical realms. Interesting. In fact, I'm even connecting the anger back to the fire planet energy that came up when we cleared spiritual blocks level 2. Okay. Clear for integrity of consciousness. Duality began when there was the idea for a new one universe, and the plan was drawn for that universe. Duality causes a lack of integrity in spiritual consciousness, and that integrity needs to be cleared and reestablished. And certainly when we're angry, right, we're acting out of integrity. And it's going to put us in our negative ego, right? So as we release the anger again, let's ask to clear the negative egoic consciousness down to 0%. And to dial up the positive egoic consciousness, which has our truth of identity and spirit, to 100%. And as I did that, I was guided to do something else, which is I want to download 6B energies really into the positive ego to bolster it. We cleared 6A energies at the I am level before, and now I'm guided to download and apply 6B energies at that level too. Okay. So Lords of Karma, God team, let's ask to download elevated emotions or positive expressions through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, especially at the I am level. All elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities. From inception to present time and into the future of all listeners, now and in the future. Again, the lineages are connected to soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. And as usual, when I do this, I do feel the energy lifting, the vibration and consciousness rising, expanding. Okay, and what if we downloaded either, we can conceptualize this as into the positive ego or into the I am level of consciousness, please. Inside. We're getting abundance, perfect. Outside, kindness and laughter. Anything else outside? Love of women. Anything else? Inside, generosity. Okay, great. Outside, self-esteem. Perfect. Anything else? Outside, relaxation and purpose. Okay, great. So a number of those are either directly related to the clearing itself, but I'm also seeing that some of these seem to replace other things that we had cleared before. For example, the self-esteem, replacing the low self-esteem. The generosity, replacing the greed. That came up. That's right, greed came up. Okay, where to next, please? Again, let's get the positive, negative number. Positive on blocks to abundance is now up to about 98%. What is the negative on it? 10. Okay, there's something else to clear. Where to next? Chart 10B or 10A, 10B. Okay, that's interesting. This chart is called Programs Created by Spirits. And what comes up on chart 10B, please? Vis-a-vis blocks to abundance. Infinite levels before thought. Okay, so that again, that relates back to the 2600 pathways that came up before. Okay, what else? Miscellaneous, but also the embryo. Okay, so all of those are related. Okay, and I will define these from the SRT supplementary materials. Now, I believe all of these run at the spirit level, which is above the I am level. So these don't, some of these run at lower levels of consciousness as well. Okay, so clear through all levels, layers, steps of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 of our realities, from inception to present time and into the future. Again, of all listeners now and in the future. Clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan, and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. Programs listed on chart 10B are pre-programmed into the Akashic records by spirit at the I am level. Okay, it is at the I am level. Okay, so that's interesting. It's all connected in this clearing. It's emanating from the I am level. But they do not take effect until the soul reaches a certain level of ascension. Once the soul reaches that particular level through learning and experience, then these potential programs may begin to arise. Although spirit programs these, they're usually in all 22 bodies. Okay. So infinite levels before thought. This program is established at spirit level on chart 3, because before thought, there was spirit source. Everything that exists was first a dormant idea in the consciousness of spirit. The first factor involved in the process of creation is the movement of those dormant ideas through the thoughts of spirit. The thoughts form the dormant ideas into all the potential possibilities which are possible of expression in the entire one universe. Okay. And then the embryo. This program contains all of the factors included in the embryo for a one universe. The embryo for each successive one universe that is created is based on the total accumulated beliefs and experiences of every soul in the previous one universe. Spirit then adds additional factors to the embryo to give the new universe different potentials of expression. High Self indicates that before the new one universe was started on, there's a date here, April 24th, 1993, okay? 1 1/2 infinities of additional factors had been added to the embryo. This program does not have the potential to run until the soul reaches the level of spirit on the front of page 3, okay? And then the final one we're clearing is miscellaneous. This chart item represents a final clearing or mop-up of everything remaining from this chart. Okay. And there are other programs which are more specific, but we will save those for another clearing. So it seems like, as I'm feeling into this, there's just, in terms of abundance blocks, there's a lot of blocks to potentials. And that could also directly influence our ability to fully realize our life's purpose, our soul's purpose. And that is a topic of another clearing, which I intend to do soon, blocks to life purpose, which in SRT, there is thought to be one primary life purpose that we all share, which is to seek enlightenment. But the soul can also have secondary and tertiary life purposes, which can also relate to our mission and soul's original gifts. And really, the more advanced the soul, the more specific that purpose becomes, is my understanding. But sometimes what happens is we experience a lot of hardship, pain, oppression, and trauma, especially on this planet. And we might get stuck in misbelief and fall under the spell of addiction and not be able to fully realize our life purpose. Okay, so where else? Is there something else that wants to be cleared? And I'm getting a yes. And it looks like we're going to chart 30 or 31? 30, final light. 9 councils in the one universe. Anything else on this chart? No. Okay, so let's get that cleared. Again, all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities from inception to present time and into the future of all listeners now and in the future. Again, clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan, and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. 9 councils in this one universe. These are the most important councils in the entire process of creation, formation, and experiencing of the soul. They are the hub or center around which the whole creative process revolves. The network center, which sends out the signals, receives the return signals, and assimilates them into the working whole. It is important that they stay balanced and neutral in all of their work. Now, I believe elsewhere, I'm going to check in the dictionary, that the 9 councils in the one universe are synonymous with lords of karma, whom I commonly invoke. But I'm going to verify that. 9 councils. Yes, 9 councils at Godhead, Sananda. These 9 are called the Sananda Council. They also call themselves the Lords of Karma. They consist of the first 32 levels of consciousness at the Godhead and are the intermediaries between spirit and its creation. Given that Sananda typically refers to joy or happiness in a spiritual context, and given that the very next item on this chart is finished wrap up, I gather the Sananda Council must be sending forth their abundance. Okay, so we're going to head into a wrap up, mop up on the topic of today's clearing, which was blocks to abundance. And as I've noted in other clearings, I have a full wrap up, mop up checklist, which I would go over in more detail if this were a personal clearing. And if you're interested in booking a personal clearing with me, all the details for how to do so are listed beneath this video. And if you are a first-time client to the Lady of Shalott, you do receive 25% off your first healing call with me. Okay, so working with the God team and its 200 plus charts on the other side of life, asking to clear anything we haven't known to clear here today. Asking to clear 100% of 100% of all remaining programs on 100% of 100% of all remaining charts. Asking to clear anything not on charts. Clear Alpha to Omega, ensuring our records are clean, cleared, organized, brought up to date to reflect the full benefits of this particular clearing today. Making any necessary tweaks, adjustments, changes to our pre-birth plan. Activate our divine blueprint, bringing on board more of our soul's original gifts to help serve us on this next leg of the Ascension journey, or it may still be an incarnational journey. Clearing away any accidents, injuries, illnesses, dementia we may have pre-planned. Asking any ancestors that they be returned to the spiritual realms from which they emerged. Thank you, ancestors. We ask you to send forth your blessings. If there is any mind-body work that wants to be included in this mop-up, brain cell restructuring, organs, glands, cells, tissues that wish to be treated. Homotoxicology done, direct healing processes, colors from chart 7. Healing shapes, patterns from spiritual healing therapy. Let's just ask that all that be done automatically in consultation with our high self teams committees, with healing angels, healing committees, angels of light to help assist, attune and calibrate at least to the level of 200 courage, 350 willingness, 500 love would be even better, please, 600 peace. And similar to releasing anger at all levels, we can also ask them to conduct a head-to-toe search and clear, asking them to seek out, find out, locate the source of the affliction, the source of the malady, the source of the dis-ease that may be blocking our abundance. Let's ask to do this in 0 time. And just setting the intention that if there is more to be done, that it continue to be done as we integrate the effects of this clearing in our sleep tonight. Good. Durga Almora, to help with grounding and integration, clear the sacrum, the root, the legs, the ankles, the feet, the space between the feet, the space beneath the feet. Clear and activate the chakras at the soles of the feet and ground down onto Earth Star Chakra, or it may be onto grounding cord with Mother Gaia and Archangel Sandalphon, please. And as I usually do, I am going to end this clearing with tone for the root, but I'm also guided to add a second tone for the solar plexus for the reason that came up a few times. So I'm going to do that one first. And so the tone I'll use is O, as in go, O-H. So take a deep breath with me, and if you'd like to join me on the exhale, we'll tone O together. O. And then we'll tone U for the root, U-H. Good. Thank you, thank you, thank you.